So this Andrew Tate fellow, he promotes this stupid form of faux manliness, and it's really popular because a lot of young men have really taken the red pill, and they do recognize the evils of feminism and all these kinds of things, but they don't have any sanctifying grace. And he's a Muslim prophet at this point, so he's leading men to hell, objectively speaking. He's a spiritual murderer, and nobody should follow him. But his message is attractive to people to men, and it's also very attractive to a lot of women as well, because women have been so objectified and beaten down by the culture. Because people don't need to understand, by the time a woman falls into the lies of the culture and dresses in a way and acts in a way that is without decorum, and she presents herself as an object, she's actually at that point very much a victim. Obviously, her actions are her own, and we all have to be culpable, but she has been abused psychologically by the lies that the culture has told her about what she's supposed to be like. And so Andrew Tate's message is actually becoming very appealing to a lot of women who are starting to embrace en masse these things like, polygamy, basically, because they're so resistant. They're reacting so hard to the legitimate evil of feminism that they're starting to embrace essentially what is a form of paganism, because they look at morality without grace. And so they say we've been lied to about what men and women are like. This Andrew Tate guy is telling us what men are really like, and women stop being feminists. So just, submit in this very disordered sense to the desires of men, because if you don't do that, you're just a feminist. And it's creating a real problem. And I'm seeing that in young people, men in their 20s especially, who are rejecting the lies, but they're starting to embrace as well these things that I'm not really a fan of. There's this whole Tradwife phenomenon going on right now, and I don't really like it. Not because I don't believe that it's good for men and women to be traditional, but it's based on this 1950s stereotype, and it's not religious. Yes, there's a Christian undertone to it because America has this strong evangelical idea, and a good man has the Bible and the wife is a God-fearing woman and blah, blah, blah. But all of that is meaningless unless you have the sacraments. A good Protestant can't be saved as a good Protestant. He has to save his soul by being joined to the church, objectively speaking, in some way or another. And so all of this Andrew Tate thing, this Tradwife thing, these are all reactions to feminism, and it's good. Feminism's bad, and it's good to react to it. But the solution, even though it's maybe, let's say, less disordered, it's kind of like, again, to go back to the Screwtape letters, Screwtape is teaching Wormwood about damning souls, and he says, don't be too quick to try to get this man to be a murderer, because if he becomes a murderer, there's actually a really good chance he's going to have repentance and he might save his soul. Whereas it's better to get him to play cards, meaning start gambling, because all we want to do is make sure that at the end he finally falls off the cliff. So let's get him there gradually, rather than all at once, which is going to cause him to wake up. And so these movements that are anti-feminist, they're kind of like that idea of playing cards. It's like, well, it's not as evil as the really bad thing, but overall it's going to lead them to a place where they're going to fall off the cliff at the end, because they're still falling into an error which is less obvious but will lead them away from the right path.